Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another live edition from Inside Out. I'm your host, Jay. Thank you guys so much for being here. I do very much appreciate it, as always. And we have a lot of you guys still in here. Thank you guys so much for being here. We have on the chat, we have Vicky. How's it going, Vicky? Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you too as well. And I hope you're doing okay in your neck of the woods. Thank you so much for being here. And as also, we have Cynthia. What's going on, Cynthia? I hope you're doing good over there in Texas, and hope everything's okay with you and your family. And I also hope your son's okay too as well. Much respect for you being here too as well. With that being said, we also have Curtis. What's going on, Curtis? Thank you so much for being here, Curtis. Thank you so much. Hope you're doing okay there in Kansas too as well. And last but not least, for right now, we have Tammy in here. How's it going, Tammy? Thank you again so much for being in here and all your help and whatnot you've done for this podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Of course, and we also want to go ahead and invite her up here. Welcome to the show, Tammy. How you doing? I think you're having mic problems. I can't hear you, so you might have to come back in. So I'll let you back in. Try to reload or something because I'm not hearing you. So come back in and I'll let you back up. Can you hear me, Tammy? Nope, I guess not. All right. But with that being said, okay, we're going to try it again. Here she is. Welcome, everybody, to with Tammy. Tammy, can you hear me?
Yeah, tried to boot the restream again. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
It was weird. It tried to boot it up like twice.
It seems like every time the ads come up that you have an issue with it.
No, I'd already played them. I let them. That's why I came up late. I let them play the ads, but it's like the restream tried to boot
I see.
while I was already in restream. It was weird. I was
Wow.
like, what?
Well, anyways, welcome in, Tammy. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Doing good. Fighting the good fight.
Yeah, aren't we all? Yeah. Well, thanks for being here nonetheless. I appreciate you, Tammy, as always. We have an interesting, for the viewers and of course you, we have an interesting podcast tonight. And man, it seems like to me since the information and whatnot that you've given me, and since I started doing this, it seems to be getting worse and worse as the days and weeks and even months are going by. And it's getting sickening and disgusting, and it doesn't seem to be no end to it. It's like a broken record, if you will. What's your take on what's going on tonight?
It is and it isn't. Okay, so there's a big thing going around right now.
Hey, Texas Mom. Thank you for being here.
Texas, for all you Texas folks out here, that Texas, because of the lawsuit by Charlie's group that he's VP of, Texas Cure, and then Toon and Jennifer Toon and Marcy Marie, the Lioness Justice, Women's Impact Group. Well,
is there an update? Is there an update? What's going on with that?
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So I'm hoping that it's all true. I mean, there's always rumors with things. But, the judge is out like on recess debating and thinking and mulling over everything that was presented. He hasn't made a decision yet. All of a sudden, TDCJ has posted that they're going to get 50% of the prisons air conditioned.
Oh. Okay. Wow. Okay. We're not to stop you there real quick. I got two people that I want to get this comment out. Vicky, which I'm sure you're talking to and whatnot. Vicky said, I have some things to say. I know it's not topic but Vicky, you're more welcome to come up or put it in the chat. Tell me what's going on. We're here to help. Please, whatever it is you got going on, this podcast is for you too as well. Also, it says here from Cynthia, hey, Jay, my sister said she's willing to talk, but under my name and without the camera on for her protection. Absolutely. That's the difference that sets this podcast, aside from different ones out there. I'm not about the hype and the clout and the popularity status. If she's worried about her safety and all that, absolutely. I won't even complain or bitch if she doesn't want to show her face on camera. Absolutely. So tell her she's more than welcome to come up and do a show without the camera on. Absolutely. Thank you so much for doing that.
And you can edit your avatar too, Cynthia, if you want. If she
Yeah,
wants to
that's
come
true
up,
too. I forgot about
we
that.
could edit. Like, I don't even have to have my face up here if I don't want to. Most of the time, I just don't do it because, quite frankly, I'm just worn out and tired by the time I'm off from work. So
Right.
I
Well,
don't want to go
it's
through the
it's
trouble.
totally understandable, and some people just don't are not want to be on the camera, which I respect.
Yeah.
That's the difference between everybody else and why it sets me apart from everybody else because I don't need, if you will, I don't need that. So it's
Yeah,
all
we're not
good. So
about the hype. I don't think
we're not. It's
this
not.
is
It's
not about
see
a
some
glamour
people.
shot.
Exactly. Some people think it's an image thing. No. I mean,
No,
I'm
bullshit.
past that image thing. It's not about image. But Vicky gets in here real quick. Sorry to cut you off, Tammy. Anyways, Vicky gets in here and says, "I just wanted to say how Jackson County Jail in Michigan." Okay. Uh, what kind of information or whatnot can you give us? Please, by all means, put it in the chat, or you're more than welcome to come up on the panel and discuss it verbally if you want, without having to show your face. It's up to you. And then, of course, Cynthia gets in here real quick and says, I can do it like yours, Tammy, with just my picture. Yeah, that's exactly.
Works fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So let her, Cynthia, let her know if you can, please. That's perfectly fine. And there's no argument or debate with that. So more than welcome to do that. But her information is important and we need to get out there regardless. So absolutely. Let me know and we'll get it scheduled in. Thank you, Cynthia, for that information. Go ahead, Tammy.
Oh, I know. What I was saying is that the Texas, like, it's like because they're afraid of what that judge is going to come back and say. I
Mhm.
think to a degree, like that they're scared. I don't know. Just my
Mhm.
perspective is that the judge could come back and make them do a whole hell of a lot more than what they're jumping on trying to do right now.
Right. Well, and it sounds like to me again, and this is from, obviously experience and whatnot, not coming from me, my experience. I'm saying from other people I've, dealt with and all that. The DOC as a whole, and they've come out and said this in some circumstances, and what I'm getting at is DOC all clear across the board in all states don't want this to be publicized. They don't want this to be a public spectacle, if that makes any sense. So they'll do what they can to keep it quiet, shove it in the rug, and just settle out of court and be done
You
with it.
know
That's
what?
usually that's
Why?
usually how they work. But go ahead,
Do you
Timmy.
know why they do that? Do you really want to know why?
I have an
End of
idea,
the
but go
day,
ahead.
because if Texas wins, if Texas wins this lawsuit, I
Mhm.
mean, if these two groups beat Texas, I'm sorry, not Texas, the other way. If
Mhm.
we win against
Mhm.
them, all the advocates and the groups, then
Trace,
it's a
what's going on?
stepping stone for other states to start and other advocacy nonprofit groups to go after their states because they can
Yeah.
use the case law as
Mhm.
precedent for their states. So it
Yeah.
would be like
Well, yeah, you're
lighting a
correct.
match and setting the flame on fire, and just it goes all around from state to
Correct.
state, kind of like their corruption.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, let's be for real. It
Mhm.
is just ridiculous when I told you I was on the phone with the prison today, right?
Yeah. You a little. You touched base on it a little bit, but what happened?
So they called me because it's a real nice lady at his unit. This unit is a lot better than where he's been.
Hey, Timmy.
And they
Right.
called and they said that they didn't get some paperwork because they lost it again. I sent
Mhm.
the paperwork one time. It was a lot of paperwork, personal information. We're talking about copy of Rick's VA ID card, a copy of my
Mhm.
driver's license, our
Mhm.
bank account that we're both jointly on. Personal information you don't just want everybody having access to.
Mhm.
They lost it at Beto. They lost it the first time. I called and I'm like, what in the hell? So then I sent it again, but I sent it where they had to sign for it this time. And they lost it again. And when this lady called to tell me that Beto unit had told them at the unit he's at presently that they had lost it, I said, okay, I will call you back in a few minutes. I
Mhm.
excused myself from work, which cost me more money, and I call him, and I was like, I need to speak to classifications. And they get on the phone. They pass me from one person to another, play their little game. Lady gets on the phone. She's like, I can't find it. I was like,
How's it
what do
going,
you
Kim
mean you
Marie?
can't
Kim
find
Marie,
it?
thank you so much for being here. Sorry, Tammy. I have to
No,
do that.
you
Sorry.
have to. It's fine. And
Yeah.
so then I was like, how in the world can you excuse losing something y'all signed for? It's at that unit somewhere, and somebody needs to find it. That's my personal banking information, my identity. And I said, and somebody better find it today, because if not, there's going to be a real big problem.
Right.
Because especially in the job I work in, you can't just be losing my stuff like that.
Right. Well,
They found it. While they were on the phone with me, they found it. Literally.
man, that's an Imagine That segment.
So kind of that's what was going on anyway. I just had to say.
Yeah. No, you're good. Thank you so much for that info, Tammy. I appreciate it. So as you guys are just tuning in, I'm going to go ahead and get into the facts of this podcast tonight. As you guys know, we're dealing clear across the board, not just the southern states. This is all 50 states, believe it or not, in some type of inhumane living conditions or treatment. We all know it's an Eighth Amendment violation. And again, guys, if you need to, please do take notes if you have to. If you have a locked up loved one somewhere in the states here, make sure that you kind of just listen to everything we're dealing with here, because believe it or not, and I don't mean to sound like a broken record to any of you out there right now, but you have to understand that when I say Eighth Amendment to the Constitution as a violation, come on, that's a lawsuit. I know lawsuits are, in some circumstances boring. They drag out. It takes years to even see anything in this mess and all that. But look, it's not about, in a sense, winning or losing. It's the principle behind the whole mess. You may not even see any financial gain off of this. Don't look at it as a financial gain. Look at it as, hey, I'm doing this. It's a big stepping stone to try to get things changed and quit, because, pretty soon the taxpayers here in this country are going to get sick and tired of paying for all of the government mistakes, because every time, an individual that's locked up files a lawsuit, guess who gets stuck paying the bill? Yeah, absolutely, you guys, the taxpayers. Thanks to qualified immunity. They are protected, and we're the ones stuck paying the bill. That's not right. It's not fair. And we're going to try to do what we can to expose that crap. So before we get into the facts and all the detail, I'm sorry, Kim Marie said, heard you say my name, but then it died. LOL. Sorry. It's okay. There's a time delay here on all live events. It's beyond my control. I can't do nothing about it, but I do apologize. But anyways, welcome in, Kim Marie. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it as always. Let's see here. Trey Stone got in here real quick before getting into the data. Everyone is a little ridiculous. Yeah, that's an understatement. Cynthia got in here. Did you want her to come on tonight or another night? Hey, the more the better, Cynthia. If she wants to come on tonight, the link to come on up is in the pinned section, in the very top portion of the comment section. You should see it there. Have her click it, and she doesn't have to show her face, but we can have her come in here and talk and say what she needs to say. Absolutely. But with that said, until I will wait, Texas Mom said, no, Curtis, not you. The unit's losing Tammy's paperwork. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I must have missed something somewhere. Curtis says, is that what you are meaning to Mom? Okay, so this is why everything's time delayed, and this is the reason why I get stuff late, because then I get behind on the chats, and I don't know what's going on here. But nonetheless, Kim Marie said, I hope this is a tape so I can come back on and listen. This is live right now, but the replay will be put up after the live is over, so you can watch the replay. If you miss anything, that's the beauty about doing these streams. But this is a live event, and this is unedited, uncut, and all that. So thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get into the data here tonight, guys. I got some things I want to show you guys. And I don't know what part you want me to show first, Tammy, but should I play the video that you gave me earlier, or should I go into the other details? Can you hear me, Tammy?
Sorry, I put myself on mute while you were talking.
Oh, it's okay.
So you can play the video if you want. That's fine.
Okay. All right, we got
so it's not too long.
It's okay.
I don't think it's a very
we got Cynthia's sister in here. Hi, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm okay.
All right.
Nice to
Uh,
meet you. Thank you for coming
nice to
up.
meet you. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, I lost her. They have pretty bad connection where they live at. Their internet's not the greatest. So more power to you to come back in if you can try. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get into the data real quick. And if I hear you come in, I'll get out of this and we'll go from there. Oops, wrong one. There it is. All right, so what we're going to do, guys, is play this video. Again, all credit goes to CBS Evening News that put this on. Again, all credit goes to Alabama prison conditions. CBS Evening News. Sorry about that. And this is the titled Alabama Prison Conditions Deemed Unconstitutional After Investigation. Here's that video.
Officials in Alabama have until next week to improve safety throughout the state's troubled prison system. The Justice Department demanded an overhaul after an investigation found conditions unconstitutional, violating the Eighth Amendment protections against cruel and unusual punishment. Chet Pegues takes us inside.
These are just some of the 2,600 photographs taken inside Alabama's prisons. Images of horrid conditions. Inmates who were killed by another prisoner's hand or their own, like Betty Head's son, who died after trying to hang himself in this decrepit cell block.
Prison system killed my only son, Billy Thornton.
31-year-old Billy Thornton was just months away from finishing a 6-year sentence for a statutory rape. Inmates told her that her mentally ill son would cry for help, but be routinely ignored. So he would call for help and no one would
They would
respond.
ignore him. Let's keep going. Yes, sir.
They would ignore him. Alabama prisons have the highest suicide rate in the country, 3 times the national average, 15 in 15 months.
Things are really out of control and need to be reined in.
Maria Morris of the Southern Poverty Law Center says mentally ill inmates, even those on suicide watch, are held in solitary confinement where they have little contact with officers.
What that basically means is they're warehousing them. They're sticking them into segregation units and letting them suffer, in some cases letting them commit suicide.
Wow.
But it's not just the mentally ill who are suffering. A 2-year Justice Department investigation found conditions throughout the entire Alabama prison system are unconstitutional, and that an excessive amount of violence, sexual abuse, and prisoner deaths happen on a regular basis, making the state's prisons a deadly place to work as well.
I am thankful that I walk out alive.
This worker, who has to be fully disguised for fear of being fired for speaking out, told us the situation is dire.
We need more mental health workers. We need more officers. More people are going to die.
State prison officials say there are approximately 1,400 officers,
Good
about
Lord.
half of what's needed to oversee a prison population of 16,000.
This has been a problem that's been 30 years in the making.
The commissioner
No
of
shit.
the Alabama Department of Corrections, Jeff Dunn, says $125 million has already been appropriated to raise staffing levels, curb violence, and increase attention to inmates' mental health. Why should people think that things are going to change?
In the last couple of years, we've seen, first of all, the coming together of several partners who are committed to fixing this.
The DOJ report said that the state is deliberately indifferent to the risks that prisoners face. Those words must sting.
They do, and we've embraced that challenge.
The Southern Poverty Law Center has sued the Alabama Department of Corrections. A federal judge is forcing the prison system to make changes. And like the courts, the DOJ has issued an ultimatum of its own: change or be forced to comply. Too late to save Billy Thornton.
Why did y'all kill Junior? Why did you all kill him?
Jeff Pegues, CBS News, Birmingham.
Wow, there you guys go. And we're going to get back in the chat and come back in the studio. Wow, that's heartbreaking to say. And I'm going to tell you right now, I hope that mother right there sues. Tammy, what's your take on all that mess?
I'm not surprised one bit, but the thing is, like I'm telling you, this is the year of truth. People are stepping forward and they're pushing hard. I think a lot of officers are starting to do just like us. We're starting to step up. It's not just the It's not
Welcome, welcome, Cynthia.
high. It's not just the staff suffers just like the inmates do, and it just makes for a bad mix of everything.
But anyways, thank you, Tammy, for that. That's just crazy. Cynthia's sister, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's kind of staticky though.
Okay, I apologize on that. I don't know if it's on your end or my end. We'll make the best of it, though. Okay. So go ahead and tell me a little about yourself and what you know and what your story is, please, real quick.
Now, I retired back in 2019, so it's changed a lot since I retired.
Right.
I know when I was a lieutenant, when we had anybody threatening suicide or didn't feel safe, whatever, I worked for a state jail. We put them back in solitary, but under medical watch until we could get them transported to a mental facility. And then the mental facility took them and did their thing. And then once they got cleared to come back, we brought them back. But I personally would make sure that everybody was okay. I was not a lieutenant that just sat on my butt doing paperwork. I showed myself out there on the bowling alley, in the dorms. You know, I did the right thing. You know, I was not
Right.
offender friendly, don't get me wrong, but I was firm, fair, and consistent. The offenders gave me respect because I earned it, and they earned my respect. So if they had issues regarding another staff member or another inmate or whatever, they knew they could come to me and I would point them in the right directions. So,
Right.
you know, and that was my belief. You know, they're people too, you know, and if you got to treat them the way you want to be treated.
Absolutely.
Just like my nephew, he's incarcerated for life, and I got labeled as I was not good enough, or that I was a threat to be able to go visit my nephew, and I never did anything wrong. Because you weren't employed. Just because I retired as a lieutenant, you know, they said that you were a threat. I'm a threat to his escape or something like that, which is a lie. Because regardless if he's family or not, because I had other family members that were incarcerated at my facility.
Wow.
I
Wow.
didn't know they were there at the time, but I found out after they got discharged that they were there. But they already knew. They could not say that they were my family, you know, and they never approached me. So, which was, you know, I'm glad they did that, because if I would have found out that my family was at my unit, I would have to have them transferred to another facility, because then they would say, "Oh, well, you're related to them, so you know you're going to do everything you can to protect your family."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm not. You know, I treat everybody equally. You know,
Correct.
but yeah, but
If I may, thank you so much for that information, that story. That sounds like something I've heard before in a sense. But when you were in there, I know you said you're retired now, but when you were in there, did you see a lot of corruption and abuse going on in there? And what did you do did you do anything to try to help stop it? Or, I mean, did you get threatened if you tried to stop it? I mean, what happened in there, and what did you do?
I got threatened. I got put on 18 months probation, because I stood up, you know, for myself. Because if you see something wrong, you speak up, because otherwise you're just as guilty as they are. And this was the warden and the assistant warden that was doing wrong, and I spoke up, and I got 18 months probation because of that. And I'll do it all over again. You know, it's like.
See, what you said there, sorry to cut you off, what you said there was just absolutely not surprising to me, because every time some other, like a CEO or somebody or stands up or says something, they get the shitty end of the stick for doing that. Wow. Tammy, do
We
you
do
have
it,
any?
nowadays, since I've been gone, I still have friends that still work for the state and that, and I already know if I would have gone back and not taken my retirement when I did, I would have been walked off the unit and fired and lost all my benefits because I
Oh,
would
wow.
I would not have stood up because there's so much going wrong right now, and I see it. I mean, I don't see it on personally because I'm not there no more, but I got friends that still work there, and they talk to me and they tell me what's going on, and they can't wait to retire, because they want to keep their benefits, but yeah, they got mouths just like I do, and they don't put up with it.
Wow, 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 wow.
So,
So did you see any kind of abuse and whatnot with the inmates in there? I mean, how did you deal with that mess? I mean, what
when-
I'm asking you is like in some, you don't have to go in too much detail because I understand, but what I'm saying is what kind of situations did you see in there with the inmates?
when I was a sergeant at a maximum security unit, I did see a lot of inmate abuse by staff, and I pulled them to the side, the way we're supposed to, and I talked to them. In fact, one officer, she got the shit beat out of her, and I did because the inmate attacked her right in front of me, and I'm not gonna stand back and watch my officers get attacked. So I ended up getting seriously hurt too, defending her, and I had other inmates there, and they're like, Sarge, after everything was said and done, they're like, Sarge, you don't know how bad we wanted to jump in to defend you.
Right.
They go, we don't care about her because she was a type that would belittle the inmates no matter what. She's always taking their stuff when they weren't supposed to be taking the stuff.
He means like staff.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, she
wow.
was abusing the inmates. Yeah, and I would talk to her. Not only me, I had other rank talking to her, and she just didn't care, until one day, she got bones in her face broken because of it, and I got my shoulder messed up because of it, but I went right back, and right back to the building and went right back to work after it happened. And then I ended up having to take medical leave because of my shoulder injuries. I didn't want to, but I did, I had no choice because I
Wow.
couldn't do
How
my
did you
job.
feel about the grievance system in the process? I don't know if the Texas State Prison is like the prison that
Oh,
TDC
I'm all for the
for the
grievance
prison
system.
that's not taped.
I'm all for the grievance system. In fact, whenever the inmates told me that there were no grievance paperwork in the tickets, I would go out of my way and go get grievance forms for them and give it to them. So they knew that they could count on me for doing what was right.
Come on you, but others probably threw them away. Did you see that,
Yeah.
or were they
No. I
retaliating?
never threw.
Nor
No.
did you see others.
No, I never saw nobody throw them away. 'Cause once I gave it to
No, I
the
don't mean you. I
inmate,
meant like other officers. I know it wasn't you because I know that you're
no,
very
because
prestigious and yeah.
the the grievance paperwork, once we give it to the inmate, the staff does not get it again. It gets put in the mill, and the people from the mill room are the ones that get the grievances and give it to the grievance officer. Once it's filled out by the inmate, the officers don't touch the grievance anymore.
I wonder then that must be different than TDCJ because the other part, not
I was
the state
TDCJ.
jails. Well,
I was
because
TDCJ and state jail.
yeah, the like widow unit, they were throwing them away. Like they would put them in, and they couldn't, and like sometimes they wouldn't even bring them the slips, the ISIS
That's
slips,
wrong.
or the step ones, yeah, or some of them are getting retaliated, like Ferguson unit, hobby unit. Hobby unit, they found a lot of abuse over there to the women, so they've got a new warden that's supposed to be really straightening things out. But I'm gonna step back and kind of watch it. But I know, were you ever like I've seen and I've heard of, especially in a, I don't know if you were in a male unit or a female unit.
No, I was only in male units. I never worked at a female unit.
Okay. I'm going to go out, Jay, and I'm going to come back in because it's breaking up, but I hear it even when my mic is on mute. So I don't know if it's
Okay. All right, Tammy. All right. Thank you,
I'm
Tammy.
going to go down. I'll come back up.
Okay. All right. So we're going to wait till Tammy gets back in here. But again, I'm going to go ahead and say thank you, everybody, to the guests that are being here and everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for doing what you're doing in there. You guys are on fire, and show your concern, love, and respect for everybody, and also show your love and concern and respect to the guests tonight. I appreciate that. Oh, what the heck? Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why it does that. Hold on. I got to fix that problem. I belong to Discord, and I can't mute that bot. I don't know what causes that. But anyways, thank you so much for being here, Cynthia's sister. I hope I can say that respectfully.
Yes.
But real quick, if I may, so what other kind of things did you see and experience in there? And again, you don't have to get too detailed for your protection and whatnot. But I need to know what you saw and what you experienced in there, and what can we as American people, what can we do to stop this abuse and this corruption going inside of our prisons? What do you recommend we do?
I saw a lot of stuff in there. I mean, all the way down to murders, severe beatings, a lot of stuff. But for the family members, I recommend that they get on the ball, they make the phone calls, stay active.
Yes.
You know, don't stop just because you don't hear something one day or you don't hear it like for a week or something. Keep on them. Keep calling. Keep your voice heard.
There you go. Absolutely.
And make sure that you keep a paper trail.
Yes.
And have your family members that are incarcerated document everything down, because if it's not documented, it didn't happen.
Yep.
So you got to keep everything documented.
Because if it's not documented, you're not going to have a paper trail. You're not going to have any evidence, and your case, if you got one going, is not going to be fruitful in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for that information. All right, real quick before I get into the rest of the data tonight, and you're more than welcome to stay, Cynthia, please. But anyways, if anybody in the chat has any questions for our guest tonight, please ask away right now. Again, this is not just my podcast; it's all of your guys' podcasts too. So ask away, fire away. We have Texas Mom. I think I said that correctly. Yep, Texas Mom's in here. She said, yes, we must keep pushing. Absolutely. That's all we can do, ladies and gentlemen. You can't give up on your locked up loved ones. We are the voice and the eyes and the ears out here for these people that don't have it. You know, so we got to do what we've got to do. And then Texas Mom says, absolutely. Trey Stone gets in here and says, Cynthia, tell us about if you had a union and their power. So there's a question for you, Cynthia. Trey Stone says, tell us about if you had a union and their power. Go ahead.
I never saw anything about a union where I worked at. I mean, it's possible, but I never saw it first, you know, on hand. I never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. It's possible there might have been one, you know, available. I know there is now.
Wow. So there is one now, but there wasn't one later? Wow.
Yeah. If there's one now, but not there. Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, there's one now, but I'm not sure if there was one back then, because I never got involved in it. So I never, you know, they never came to my unit to talk to us.
Correct. My good friend Timmy gets in here and asks a question for you. Have you ever encountered COs basically putting a hit on another inmate because of their case? Have you ever seen that?
No, I saw the hits put on officers for the cases that were put on them.
Wow.
In fact, that's the officer that I helped defend, even though she was in the wrong. Mm-hmm. That was meant for her. It was a hit put on her because she wrote that inmate a case. And I was right there at the desk whenever he attacked her. He could have easily got me instead of her, but he ran around and got her instead.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting, because you hear stories about, you know, sometimes COs will pop the door or pop the gate deliberately sometimes just because to have another inmate go in the cell and beat somebody up bad or worse or unalive them?
No,
Go
I
ahead.
have seen it where the doors don't secure all the way,
Correct.
where the inmate can pop the doors open up themselves. I've seen that happen before,
Yeah.
but and I've never seen, well, where I worked at, I never saw any of my officers rolling the doors for the inmates, but I have witnessed the inmates rigging up stuff to jam the doors and open them themselves, even
Right.
those that are in seg.
Yeah. So with that being said, let me add this real quick. So, certain inmates, obviously, this is probably going to cause a little bit of controversy, but real quick, certain inmates that have certain kind of charges, do they get picked on mostly than compared to others, or do they get hits out on them too with their charges? Oh, dang, we lost her. Um, let's see. Oh, she's coming back in. Welcome back. Can you hear me? Go ahead.
We didn't know why the inmates were locked up for unless they had a transport. But those that were child molesters, women abusers, women beaters, child beaters, those ones all had a red flag on their head if the word came out that that's what they were in there for. But
Okay. Okay.
we
I
you
just
know
want.
we didn't know why they were there unless they were going to be going on transport. Then we had to go get their records and see why, see what the transport requirements were for that one particular inmate.
Sure. All right. Well, thank you very much for that information. If you want to stick around and finish the rest or listen to the rest of this podcast, I got some data that I want to share with everybody on tonight's topic. But again, I really do, Cynthia, if you may, I do appreciate you telling me all of what's going on in that prison when you worked at. It's very crucial and important that we get that information out and let the
Yeah.
public know and all that, because again, if we don't bring awareness to what's going on, it's going to be very, very hard and basically impossible to bring some solid change to our system. So thank you much for that information. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Oh, okay, Tammy, I saw you. Okay, there we go. All right, Tammy, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's way better. And sorry for not bringing it up earlier. I apologize. I just saw your message.
It's okay. No, it's okay. I just want to thank you so much for coming up here and answering
Absolutely.
all these questions, giving us some insight that we much need. I know that my husband worked in a unit that was a male unit, and they actually told him his first day on the job there at that unit, there was a female officer, and they actually told him to take his time if she ever ended up in trouble or distress, to take his time getting over there to help her.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so disgusted by that, because I
Yeah.
think every officer should have each other's back in that situation, because you're already short staffed. But I also think that you were very, very wise and very human to treat them as the human beings they are, no matter what they did, mistakes or intentionally guilty of the crimes they committed, that you treated them with the respect that they gave you. And, I'm sure there were some that did not respect you, and that's a shame as well. But also,
Yeah.
as you know, when you bully people and things like that, which some of the CEOs have that mentality, it
Yeah.
creates some very dangerous, it's a very dangerous game to play.
Correct. Tim Main got in here real quick and said this. And Trey Stone also has a question for you too, Cynthia. Tim Main said this: do you have any advice on how to get along with difficult CEOs to make the most out of your stay? That's a good question.
That's a very good question, because I had a lot of staff that they were always right no matter what you told them, and I had them talking back. I had them. I mean, it's like they knew it all. No matter what you did, you couldn't change their ways, and that was wrong. But I did my best to pull them aside and talk to them. But yeah, it's sad that there's a lot of them like that.
Right. Wow, it's crazy. And Trey Stone got in here and said this. I think this is for you too, Cynthia. Ever have a CO steal from inmates to pay for their? I'm sorry, to pay their favorite gangs or snitches. Ever had that problem?
I've seen it and I reported it. What the outcome was, I don't know.
Wow.
But
Wow.
the ones that I did see and witness, I did report it.
Wow. So basically, what we're getting at, and you're showing us tonight with more proof in the pudding, if you will, that all kinds of different kinds of corruption happens inside of our prisons. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I wish there was. I wish they would clean up their act. They know what they're doing is wrong, and I don't mean that's against you. I'm just saying as a whole, all COs that work in our prisons that are being basically funded by the taxpayers, they know what they're doing. But the question is, why are they doing it? And what can we do again to get rid of that corruption with our COs? I mean, you said get stern, put your voice out there and turn these guys in. But if the public don't know, how are we going to do anything?
Exactly. And that's a sad thing. I wish I could tell everybody, okay, well, you need to call this number, but the only way you find out about it is through family members that are incarcerated, talking to their families, and then their families calling back. And if the warden doesn't do anything about it, then go above his head and then go above their head. Keep the paper trail going higher and higher and higher.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tammy.
I said keep climbing that ladder, just like military hierarchy or anything else. And that's what I try and tell a lot of people is that, listen, if you don't get the answer you want from the first person, and you need to be emailing, because you need that paper trail too. You can hit the phone and the email, because you get a lot more attention with that email, because they know you're tracking their response at that point. You're creating a paper trail. And we're not incarcerated, our loved one is. So I don't play by their little games and their rules. And I want to say this. I don't think it's just the COs that are corrupt. I think that we have a problem with the hierarchy. When the tippy top has got an issue,
Absolutely.
it's bleeding downhill and it soaks into the COs. And there's crooked captains, there's crooked majors, there's crooked wardens, and that's
clear up
issue.
down the board.
And even higher than that, the ones that sit on the panels, things like that. We need an independent, not owned by the state, not employed by the state panel that can come in and be able to do pop-up inspections and things, and be able to be somebody from the outside that has nothing to gain by being truthful.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you guys so much for your insight, Cynthia, Tammy. I mean, this is just, this is a learning curve for a lot of us. I'm not saying I don't know about what's going on in there. I've been doing this now since 2018, guys. And I've seen and heard some stuff. I've seen photos. Again, all prisons are ran differently, and all COs have a certain type of thing they run differently in all these prisons. So not one prison's the same. So always remember that, guys. So what you're hearing about Texas shouldn't come to no surprise to any of you. Texas forgive the word, but Texas is in a shithole right now, and they're under a watch. There's a lawsuit going on with AC issues. I mean, it's all clear across the board, ladies and gentlemen. But I got to get off of this real quick. Again, thank you so much, guys, for putting that out there. Let's go ahead and do the screen share. I got more data I want to share with you guys tonight, so please bear with me. Let's see. I got this. Whoops, my bad. There it is. All right, I got this thing here I want to show you guys. And Tammy, if you can hear me, go ahead and help me do this together if you want. This is coming from a website called Bura. I hope you guys can see this okay. I'm going to have to be quite fast on this because my time is becoming limited here. Anyways, living conditions in prison. And here's more proof, guys.
You can just introduce a little bit about it, Jay.
Okay.
You can do,
all right, that's fine.
Everybody aware of where to find the article. Can you hear
me?
Okay,
yeah. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, so anybody that wants to just go and read the articles, it's two very significant articles that Jay's about to show you concerning the living conditions in prisons in the United States as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. So the information, ladies and gentlemen, and links to what you're seeing on the screen tonight is in the description of this video. Feel free to go there and check them out on your own leisure time if it's not good enough, if you will, here tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, as you guys can see, we're dealing with this right here: brutal living conditions for the largest prison population in the world. Absolutely. And real quick, I'm going to go ahead and kind of go through this as fast as I can. Anyway, it says this in this article, and again, you guys can look at this up. The links in the description. Today, nearly 2 million people are incarcerated. Again, look at that number, guys. Today, nearly 2 million. That's ridiculous. No wonder we are labeled as #1 country for mass incarceration. There's no excuse for this. But carry on. People are incarcerated, warehoused, and cramped spaces. The lack of fresh air, healthy food, natural light, proper health care, and connection to loved ones. Absolutely. All these things are a major concern. Prisons run with little to no public oversight, leading to abuse. For so many, punishment means that not only the temporary loss of liberty, but brutal prison conditions. That's why I keep saying, guys, prisons and the DOC as a whole, this concept, this idea does not work to stop crime. It's not a deterrent. It just makes things worse. When these guys get put in prison, they get out and do it again because they don't get fixed. These people don't get fixed. They don't
there's
know.
no rehabilitation. There's no reformative.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's no
they
classes.
have these programs and classes in place, but some of them, Texas does implement them, but not properly. They tell them all these things that's wrong with them, but they don't give them the skills to actually use and the techniques
Correct.
and how to fix it.
Yeah, correct. Thank you, Tammy. Perfect said. And moving on real quick, and I'm going to get out of this and go to the next one because we are getting time restraint here. But anyways,
this
guys.
paragraph and the next one are really crucial, and then the rest of the article can be read.
Okay. Anyways, it says here, as we work to refine public safety and reduce the largest prison population in the world, that's sad, we should also ensure people behind bars experiencing healthy support and safe living conditions, which we all deserve. As a human being, no matter where they're at, no matter what they're in there for, folks, ladies and gentlemen, they deserve to be treated like humans, not dogs or some type of animal. I don't care what they're in there for. Fair treatment is fair treatment. All right. Last but not least, let me get this out of the way here real quick. Okay, unfortunately, incarcerated people endure humiliating treatment, inhumane conditions, absolutely. And you heard it from another person that worked in there. So it just didn't come from me. It came from a former CO. We're not making this up. There it is. And abusive interactions, which lead to significant trauma and harm people's efforts to thrive once they leave prison. Tens of thousands of people are forced into solitary confinement, which I'm totally against of, or restrictive housing, and extensive research highlights the long-lasting negative effects. Absolutely. Without evidence of improved safety for such practices, additionally, the brunt of these depressing conditions falls overwhelmingly on Black and Latino people. It's a mixed bag, but they're right. Tammy, your take on that real quick, and we're going to move on to the next thing real quick.
I mean, I'll say it over and over again. Maybe this is a way that people can connect to this. It's like if your parents are in a nursing home and you don't ever go check on them, or you have a child that has to go into rehabilitative nursing home type environment. If the family is not watching what's going on, then I promise you they're not being treated correctly. And it's just going to continue. It's going to continue.
Yes, absolutely. And real quick, guys, this information you're seeing on your screen is also in the description. Go click it if you want to see it in its entirety on your own time and leisure. Sorry, I got to go fast through this, guys, but I'm losing time. It says I'm sorry, what is that word?
Atrocious prisons conditions make us all.
Yeah, there we go. some words. Anyways, guys, there's more proof in the pudding. Here it is. This was also put on by the Brand Center for Justice. All credit goes to them too. But anyways, look at this picture real quick, guys, with the living conditions here. That's disgusting.
I can't see it.
That is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Wow.
And you'll see that a lot in a lot of the southern state prisons.
Yes.
Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. It's terrible.
I don't think I'm going to read any of this. I want to get back in the chat. You guys can see
No,
all
it's
this
just
stuff.
too much.
Yeah, it's too much to read for tonight. I lost my time. Sorry, guys. But welcome back. So, Tammy, go ahead and if you have anything closing arguments, go ahead.
I just think that it starts with we just need to, it's kind of like a house that's falling apart. We just need to knock it down and we need to rebuild. And we need to do it the right way. Not all people need to be incarcerated. I think there are ways we can reform certain individuals outside of that setting with different means. I'm not saying there aren't people in there that are guilty of their crimes. I'm not saying they don't deserve some form of punishment. I'm just saying there's a better way to do it, and we can figure it out together as Americans that are intelligent. We're not stupid. And I think it's being run very, very terribly, and it does not work. Incarceration as it is today does not work. Right,
and again, we all taxpayers should be upset and pissed off about this. Think about it. The taxes
money is being wasted. It's
all of our tax dollars are going into this, and we're paying into this corruption. Enough's enough. We deserve. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. We're paying out for all these lawsuits that are coming from all the nonsense. And listen, Texas has HVAC workers and electricians that are inmates, and they have plumbers, and there's no reason that their maintenance should not be much better than it is. There's no reason that administration is allowed to have AC, but the COs out on the floor in the pods aren't, and that the inmates aren't, and the ones that are in solitary that are in a box with no circulation of air whatsoever. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Right, and what's sad is too that when I did my time, believe it or not, I saw people sleeping next to the toilet because there's no beds.
Oh no, they'll take and flood their toilets and get the floor wet and lay in it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I'm saying in my prison where I was at, they put people next to the toilet on the floor to sleep because there was no beds for them where I was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, yeah. It's not.
Trey Stone said, it's disgusting. I felt so bad for these people. Anyways, there were fake educational classes taught by inmates. Trey Stone said, not COs for extra funding. Oh, imagine that double dipping. It sounds like to me. Like typewriting classes to file to get funding for keyboarding. Oh, imagine that. I wouldn't be surprised. Wow. My friend Curtis said you have to be able to prove corruption in prison. I think Curtis, with all due respect, my friend, we got proof right here tonight with the former CO talking to us tonight. I think that's proof enough right there. But absolutely, I do agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. We need to be able to save our documents, our paperwork, our proof, so we can go after these people. That's the only way we're going to be able to stop this. Thank you so much for that comment, though, Curtis, nonetheless. And Texas Mom is like basically clapping. Hooray, absolutely. All right, so thank you so much, Cynthia, for being here and telling your side of the story. You're more than welcome again in the near future to come back up here and do this again and tell more stories that you heard if you want. Sorry I didn't have enough time for you tonight, but hey, this is a start. So you're more than welcome to come. Yeah, absolutely. So can we do it again in the future?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Let's plan it together.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, this is Cynthia. I just wanted to throw in real quick that I know the heat thing is a really big thing, but you only hear about like the offenders having the effects from the heat, and you don't hear anybody talking about how the COs are also suffering. You hear people saying, oh, the pigs are sitting in the picket in the AC. They're not always. And recently we had a female CO pass away, and from the heat and other medical complications. But the COs not only wear their thick long sleeves and the pants, they're required to wear street clothes underneath the uniform in case there's a situation like with getting gassed or something. So they're wearing double the clothing, and they're out there in the heat just as much as, they get to go home, but they still suffer, and you don't hear much about that.
Wow.
And they
Wow.
Yeah,
shouldn't
I
have to.
know.
We just had one die, Cynthia. Did you know that over at Robertson? She was in
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
The
she's the
female.
one that passed away, right? So
Yeah.
they pepper sprayed her, and it was heat, and she had a heart attack. And they blamed
Yeah,
it
that's
on
murder.
cardiac
To me,
arrest.
that's murder. To me, that's murder.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely, because they
Exactly.
knew better. They knew better.
Yeah.
Some people can't handle that pepper spray in their face, and it causes asthma and other issues, and it kills them. It's Texas
No.
Mom said we have. Huh?
Oh,
Go ahead,
okay.
Tim.
I thought somebody said something else, that they said it was in Florida. No, it's Texas, but I think that's
Oh,
another chat. But yeah, well, and think about it. Pepper spray is only supposed to be in certain temperatures too. So we
yeah.
don't know the chemical reaction that created for her as well. But she died. She
Imagine
lost her
that.
life. The family
We
lost their family member because of them and their neglect. The state.
yeah. Yeah, and Texas Mom said this. She goes, "We have 14 people in here tonight. We're reaching more and more people, guys. Absolutely, and we broke all viewing records tonight. We got 30 in here tonight. So, guys, give yourself a pat on the back. Congratulations to all of you that helped put me out there. We have 30 people in here tonight. Some don't come into the chat because, like I said, different platforms, you can't, for whatever reason, make comments like you guys are here unless you're on YouTube. Now, if you're on YouTube, you can put comments in here. If you belong to like Facebook or X or anything else like that, it won't come up on the chat for some reason. Some do, some don't. But anyways, 34 people in here now. That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing the stuff out here. Guys, again, I got to bounce out of here. Getting close, but look, I have this t-shirt. Stop the hate right there, guys. Stop the hate speech. Stop hate, period. If you want one of these shirts, it's in the bio of my channel. Go check it out right there. This hat, the beanie's right here too, available. I do have my other one, but I didn't bring it with me. But anyways, guys, I love and respect every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for being here. To the guests tonight, Tammy, thank you so much for being here and doing all the work that you're doing behind the scenes. I really do appreciate you more than you know. And Cynthia and Cynthia's sisters, thank you so much for doing what you're doing, and thank you for coming up in here. You're more than welcome any other time to come up in here when I do these shows. So please, let's do another show with more time so you can explain what's really going on inside of the prisons. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here.
Your insight is incredible for us because
Yeah.
that gives us another viewpoint that really does need to be heard, and that's so brave
Good
of
night,
you
Vicky.
to come up here. We thank you and appreciate you very much.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
Texas Mom, thank you. And thank you for your service into the prisons, even though I know you were trying to do what's right. And I get why you had to basically retire because, you know, it can be a sticky situation in there. But thank you for being the mouth, and thank you for sticking up, and thank you for telling the truth.
I had to medically retire because I had to have back surgery.
Oh, I get it. I understand. But I mean, when you were sticking up, when you were in there and you were
Yes.
the mouth, and you didn't like it. That's what I'm saying. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your service on that. Anyways, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and back out of here again, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Boom, Texas Mom, Tin Man, Tammy, as usual, Trey Stone. I'm going
Vicky,
Curtis
thank
is in here.
you. We
Yeah,
love you
everybody.
too.
Trey Stone, thank you so much. Trey Stone said this, indeed, Curtis, case by case basis for corruption, absolutely. Suppression of cases, the difficulty you have to know to ask for a form, you must get an $8 typewriters and use typewriting machines you must learn. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And then Vicky said this real quick, guys. Now I'm going to bounce out of here. And everyone else and the to the retired CEO, thank you for your inputs and your truth. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for your insight. It's much appreciated because, again, a lot of people don't know about what's going on. They're either too afraid to talk about it or they've been basically told to be silent and don't say anything, or you can get harmed. Retaliation is real. With that being said,
was in here tonight too, Jay. Thank you, Shell.
okay, Shell, thank you. I know I didn't say her name. I apologize on that. Again, everything is chaotic on my end. I got a lot going on here. I got this screen, that screen, my phone. I got so much going on. So, nonetheless, guys.
For coming.
Yeah,
Thank you, everybody.
Everybody. Wanda, I know you were in here. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing. I hope you enjoy your dinner. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and bounce out of here. As always, again, thank you guys so much for being here. Much love and respect. And I'll see you guys Friday night right here live from Inside Out. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.